We must be in reality what we wish to appear to others. By demonstrating such qualities as respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, fairness, caring, and citizenship, we may hope to prove by example that we value character. Candidates should always strive to exhibit strong character.
Scholarship.
Scholarship means a commitment to learning. A student is willing to spend hours reading and studying, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended, for education ends only with the end of life. Knowledge is one great element in life which leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. Learning furnishes the lamp by which we read the past and the light which illuminates the future. Candidates have the charge to continually expand their world through the opportunities inherent in scholarship.
Leadership.
Leadership. Okay. Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school. In taking the initiative in class and school activities, the real leader strives to train and aid others to attain the same objective. The price of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interest for the interests of others. A leadership has self-confidence and will go forward when others hesitate. No matter what power and resources may exist within a country, they are ineffective without the guidance of a wise leader. Leadership is always needed. Thus, to lead is a substantive charge to each of our members.
Service.
Service can be described in various ways. In the routine of a day's work, many opportunities arise to help others. We are committed to the idea of volunteering our time and abilities to the creation of a better tomorrow. Willingness to work for the benefit of those in need, without monetary compensation or without recognition, is the quality we seek in each of our members.
Will the Beta Upsilon class please rise and repeat after me the oath of membership? I pledge myself to uphold the high purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been elected, and will maintain and encourage high standards of character, scholarship, leadership, and service.
We now ask the class of Beta Upsilon to officially sign the oath of membership. Kieran Alawalia.
Rebecca Ahmed.
Aaron Amantia.
Emma Archibald.
Anne Bancroft,
Kyle Benison,
Jessica Bernstein,
Taylor Blagg,
Elizabeth Boyce Jacino,
Catherine Blair Brent,
Camille Bridger,
Shelby Butler,
Megan Clem,
McLean Collins,
Caleb Daffaloo,
Ryan Dajak,
Sophia Davis,
Mariel Del Castillo,
Simi Dar,
Catherine Elliott,
Catherine Fletcher.
John Fowler.
Aaron Garrity.
Alyssa Gill.
Eleanor Goldgar.
Andrew Graziano.
Turner Grunwald.
Dee Dee Gwinnen.
Sean Gunther.
Taylor Guttitzman.
Kara Hageman.
Tom Hartshorn.
Emma Hastings.
Ethan Hatke.
Lauren Hyban.
Brian Hohen.
Annalise Hulishy.
Darren Howe.
Connor Jastrzebski.
Matthew Jerison.
Romina Kalmeyer.
Kana Kapadia.
Sean Kent.
John King.
Daniel Kling.
Stephen Corwin.
Thomas Lehman Borer.
Julia Lash.
Brandon Liu.
Courtney McFarland.
Maha Malik.
Michael Markulek.
Benjamin Marks.
Emily Marks.
Elisa Mastriani.
Carolyn McDonough.
Lane Meyer.
Michelle Miller.
Imogen Mills.
Peter Matrano.
Haley Morin.
Michaela Murr.
Shamir Naveed.
Benjamin New.
Russell Nicholson.
Madison Nicolau.
Laura Niederer.
Christian Alaya.
Evan Ordonez.
Kimberly Parker.
Hank Piper.
Elizabeth Polakaran.
John Quinlan.
William Redman.
Virginia Rocky.
Clay Sarafin.
Julia Sinkowski.
Daniel Shake.
Andrew Shatinsky.
Brandon Sobel.
Oliver Stratton.
Nicholas Taylor.
Justine Thompson.
Roger Toussaint.
Annette von Jeglinski.
Vincent Walsh.
Abigail Watterson.
Tyler Willie.
It is my pleasure tonight to announce our guest speaker, Jess Niederer. Jess Niederer grew up on a farm in Pennington and graduated from Hopewell in 2002. She went to Rutgers University and Cornell University, where she graduated with a degree in ecology. During those college years, she traveled across the U.S. and Latin America, gathering experience working in conservation biology in Oregon, ornithology in Costa Rica and Nicaragua, and disaster relief in New Orleans, Louisiana. Exposure to working internationally and in communities far away gave her a desire to work closer to home. A passion for the environment and goal to be outdoors as much as possible led her back to her family farm. In 2010, Jess started Chickadee Creek Farm with the goal of improving the land's local ecology, growing a sustainable business, and providing her community with organic vegetables. If you can help me welcome Jess, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Good evening, NHS inductees, parents, and teachers. I have to start with a confession. I was not eligible to be in NHS when I was a student here because my Spanish grades were too low. Regardless, I'm so pleased and honored to be speaking to you. I'm impressed with the potential that these young adults have. They could do great things, and we have a world that needs great things to get done. Becoming a member of NHS demonstrates that you have a commitment to working hard and that you care about others. And that's not the easiest thing to do when you're 16, 17, and 18. Because I'm from here too, and because I'm not a whole ton older than those we're celebrating here tonight, I'm going to share some of the experiences that I've had and talk about why they happily landed me where I am now, a local organic farmer and business owner. I graduated from Cornell University, where I picked up my coffee drinking habit, trying to keep up with all the coursework there. But that's not really where I learned the most important things. It was during the time that I took off from school, so took whole semesters away from college, that I got a real sense of what my direction was going to be. And that isn't a new idea, sending young adults away from their homes, far away from their homes, to learn great life lessons. Aboriginal Australians called this walkabout. Native Americans called it vision questing, and the Amish have a similar tradition. They call it rumspringa. Many cultures encourage their young adults to experience different viewpoints, different ways of life, and different value systems. The point is to turn young adults into better people, more understanding and with more perspective, more fully aware of how they can be useful citizens at home. The two places that I learned the most were Nicaragua and New Orleans. But tonight I'm mostly going to speak about New Orleans. As for Nicaragua, I'll leave it at this. Being in such a family-focused culture made me decide to come back home. And I also finally learned how to speak Spanish there. Being in New Orleans after Hurricanes Rita and Katrina had flooded the city 7 years ago totally changed who I was. Before that, I assumed that the world was mostly fair. And after that, I came to believe that there's overwhelming injustice. And if you want it to be fair, then you're going to have to make it fair. I volunteered there for 7 months with a nonprofit called Common Ground Relief. It's an organization that mostly did house gutting, so that's removal of all the flood-destroyed properties in a home. The moldy carpets, the putrefying refrigerators, ruined family albums, rotting clothes, damp, moldy drywall. And the most difficult part of that is not the physical ability of taking it out, it's the emotional requirement of witnessing people whose lives had been rocked by that flood and the deep despair that they felt. One special thing about the organization that I worked with is that they focused their efforts on the poorest parts of the city with the belief that help should go first to the most vulnerable people. The flooding of New Orleans was totally predictable because New Orleans is built on a floodplain of the Mississippi River. It's historically flooded, but the risk of catastrophic flooding had gotten much worse. Industrialization had caused massive destruction of the wetlands that would have buffered the city from storm surges and hurricanes. Changes in our climate also mean increasing intensity and frequency of those types of storms. All of this accumulating vulnerability had been leading up to a disaster there for a long time. The connection between our environment and human well-being became very obvious there. For New Orleanians living in the city after the flood, the stress of losing many loved ones in the floodwaters, of losing their homes and their communities, led to acute health emergencies in those people that survived the storms. The people that I was working with had really high rates of heart attacks, strokes, and diabetic emergencies because of the stress and the trauma that they had gone through. And it was being in those situations with people having those health emergencies that I realized and was kind of horrified by how little I knew about dealing with humans during health emergencies. Through New Orleans, it still mostly remains a sad story and even an infuriating story, but it's a place where we got a lot of things done, too. When there were no health clinics, the organization I was working with would make a health clinic. Where the wetlands were degrading, we would organize projects to do replantings and reestablish eroding land. When federal assistance was ignoring the most impoverished neighborhoods, we would focus our work there. So where the city was going to give up on a school in the poorest part of town, we responded to the pleas of parents and of the directors and teachers of that school, cleared out all the flooded contents, and gave them a clean start, and they succeeded in bringing it back. The lessons that I gleaned from there were to create fairness if what you're finding was injustice. And it was to stick up for the vulnerable, even if you're a very tiny piece of a solution. And also to pay attention to the state of the natural resources around you before a catastrophe hits. I'm a farmer, and it may seem like a leap to decide to be a farmer because of what I saw in New Orleans, but here's how that connection goes. I wanted to take care of the people around me, and I wanted to be a part of preventing more environmental damage. I also wanted to work outside. I hate being inside. And in our country, farming and ranching is the single largest user of land and water resources. And agriculture in the US also emits 10% of our greenhouse gases. And most of that is from the use of synthetic fertilizers in agriculture. It's not from driving the tractors around. And that's preventable use. When you farm organically, you can't use synthetic fertilizers. So farming in a way that improved the environment was something that I was excited to figure out. The other portion of farming that attracts me is its contribution to healthy people. When I moved back to Pennington, I became a volunteer EMT with our local first aid squad and witnessed a lot of those same health emergencies that I had seen in New Orleans happening right here. And a lot of them really seemed linked to poor diet, even more than just acute stressful circumstances. The Harvard School of Public Health actually states that eating more vegetables reduces risks of heart disease, diabetes, stroke, eye and digestive problems, and some types of cancer. So my path came together at that point. To be near my family, to save the family farm, to improve the environment, to improve the health of people around me. And I'm not saying that I'm single-handedly solving all those problems, but I am really proud to be part of the solution for things that I care about. So as a farmer, I grow and sell vegetables for a living. And it's not something that I thought I would want to do when I was in high school. And I'm not so sure that it's a career path that most parents want their kids to pursue. You'll never make much money, and you'll never get a summer vacation. You have to work long, physically challenging days in occasionally awful weather. But I love farming. I love being dirty all the time, and I love fixing broken tractors, and I love picking cherry tomatoes. Mostly, though, what I love is that as a farmer, I get to tackle some of the most challenging issues of our time, climate change and human health. I think that that's the key point, is figuring out the way to use your head to make social contributions. I recently, a couple months ago, went to my 10-year high school reunion, and I'm really horrified to say that about half of the classmates that I talked to hate their jobs, like really hate their jobs. So 10 years out of high school, already not happy with where they're at. The ones who loved their jobs had work that they cared about, and not that simply had a good paycheck. So there's so many things out there to care about. We all have so many important challenges facing us in energy production, in climate, in civil engineering, agriculture, environmental remediation, healthcare. There's so much, and that's where you promising young people come in. To be in NHS, you have had to demonstrate motivation and intelligence. Figure out how to focus those on the things that inspire you and that you love, and please be useful to the world that you live in. Because we really have some outstanding challenges in front of us, and we're going to need all of you to be heroes. So find your focus, work hard, work towards something that you care about. And congratulations on becoming members of NHS. I'm really looking forward to witnessing all the good work that you do.
In the words of Michael Phelps, you can't put a limit on anything. The more you dream, the farther you get. You are all being inducted tonight because of your high academic achievement, leadership skills, and your dedication to helping those around you. One of the greatest ways to show leadership is never to give up on your hopes, dreams, and goals. By showing perseverance and dedication as you work to accomplish your goals, you are showing just how smart you are. Life will not always be fair, and it will test you at times. Just remember what is important to you, and be sure to keep fighting for it. In other words, never give up. As a member of the National Honor Society, your purpose is to be a role model for the student body of Hopewell Valley Central High School. It is your job to encourage those around you to aim high and to achieve their highest goals. Just remember that there is more than one way to achieve your dreams. If one way doesn't work, just change your strategy. Never giving up means you don't keep doing the wrong things over and over. It means to be smart and figure out alternative methods and then use them until you achieve your dreams.
In the words of J.C. Watts, character is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. There are too many people who think that the only thing that's right is to get by, and the only thing that's wrong is to get caught. This concept has been true for a very long time. However, in this day and age, it seems as if a person's every action and word, good or bad, can be captured by some form of technology in an instant. Think about it. Today's media will share 5 news stories that tell us about people exhibiting poor character for every one news story about people exhibiting high character. Our society needs true role models who exhibit high character. If you go out into this world and you live your life each day by being an honest, responsible person who does the right thing as a matter of principle, I feel that you will surely succeed in life. As a member of the National Honor Society, it starts with you. In your classroom, on the athletic fields, in your school, in your community, and beyond. Let the ripple effect of your high character be a model for others to admire and to follow.